Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Radhati Satma Shri Guru Charana
Focus बनाना है उनको. Atul Krishna Prabhupada एक
Hare Krishna. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Paragamanam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagurajatam Sahaganaganatam Vitam Tam Shajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasatam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shivishakam Damshta Mantra Guru Ajota Shika Guru Gon Dacharane Age Kariyavanna.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Panchakapatu Bishakapashan, the very question. Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Welcome.
We've been discussing Lakshmi Narayan Opportune Navadipe, the household pastimes of Vishwambar, Sri Navadip Chandra, with his eternal consort Lakshmi Devi, and how beautiful was their marriage and everything, and how wonderfully, how devotedly Lakshmi Devi, the Lakshmi Charitra, how devotedly Lakshmi Devi served Mahaprabhu. She would set up every day for the worship of the Lord. She would set up the flowers, the dhoop, the deep, the agaro, the chandan, the naivedya, everything, the Ganga Jal, scented Ganga Jal, everything would be set up, and Mahaprabhu would come and sit and do the puja, and she would decorate the temple with different swastika mandali. And Prabhupada was commenting in the purport, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was commenting how a lady who does this is never bereft of her husband, her children, or wealth. Those who do the swastika mandali in the temple of Lord Vishnu. And Lakshmi Devi at night time, she would sit for many hours at the lotus feet of Gaudhari, massaging his lotus feet. And Goshundor, he was very much andhar prasanna andha, he was very much pleased within, but he never actually expressed in words his appreciation for the service of Lakshmi Devi. And Prabhupada, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in the purport comments that was due to social convention. So in any case, Sri Gosunda was very much satisfied with the seva of, she was serving in a very reverential way, like or in reverence, like Lakshmi in the spiritual, in the Vaikuntha planets, or in reverence, serving the Lord. So massaging his lotus feet, and she'd never have a dispute or anything like that. And so let's see what happens. It's interesting that before Sri Chaitanya Dev journeys to Bangladesh, this particularly detailed description of Lakshmi Devi and how she's serving Gaudhari at home is given. And then we'll see how that evolves when Mahaprabhu is in Bangladesh. What happens to Lakshmi Devi is very fascinating. So in this Vrindavan Das Thakur is revealing all of these truths to us. So we're reading from the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, the Madhya Adikanda. Mahaprabhu hasn't even gone to Gaya and begun the Sankirtan pastimes at this stage. He's still Navadip Chandra, the crest jewel of the scholars of Navadip. Sarva Navadipe, Sarva Lokhoilo Doni Nimai Pandit, Oddapak Shiromani, the crest jewel of all the professors in Navadip. And this way he was adored by all of the people of Navadip and all of the Vaishnavas who had appeared here, Gaudangira Shangigone, Netaji Thakurimane, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who appeared here in Mayapur. They're all eternal associates of the Lord who appear just to participate in his pastimes. So they also were participating in his pastimes by observing his householder Leela. They were observing the Nimai Pandit. He was the crest jewel of all the scholars. Everyone was thinking about him all the time, and so were the Vaishnavas. And they would fall at the banks of Maganga and pray to Maganga, "Oh, Puti Paboni, Doya Kore, you kindly make Nimai a devotee," so that his mind becomes completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness and nothing else. And this is the prayer that the great Vaishnavas made on the banks of the Ganga in order to try to. And then eventually we saw when Nimai, he went to Gaya He went to Gaya, and then there he met Ishwarpuri and was given initiation. So when he came back, then actually the most cherished desire of the Vaishnavas was fulfilled. Parama Adbhut Kota, where the devotees were picking flowers in the courtyard of Srivas Thakur, Sriradhagovindatemple. There is one tree that gives kunda flowers all year round. So devotees, every day they were doing puja, they're worshipping their different deities. So they would be collecting the kunda flowers. The kunda is jasmine, it's fragrant. All year round, they would just go to that tree in Srivas Thakur's house, collect the flowers. And there the devotees would update everyone on the latest news. And the younger brother of Srivas Thakur, his younger brother, Ramai, he came and he was in such a joyful mood. And the devotee said, well, why are you so happy today? And he said, yes, certainly there's a reason. And they said, then please, what is the reason? He said, then let me tell you. Parama Adbhut Kotha, the most amazing thing, the most Parama Adbhut, the most unprecedented news, Parama Adbhut Kotha, Maha Ashambhav, the impossible. The impossible has been fulfilled. Maha Ashambhav, Nimai Pandit Hoilo, Parama Vaishnav. Nimai Pandit has become a great Vaishnava, Parama Vaishnava, not just a Vaishnava, but he's constantly shedding tears of love of Godhead whenever and cannot do anything else but chant the name of Govinda and Krishna. And so in this way he fulfilled. We can say why he was in the Bidalila. Well, because he gave that experience of the devotees of fulfilling their desire, that he became a devotee and joined the Sankirtan party, and then, how he fulfilled the desire of the Navadip Basis in that way. And the Vidalila also, you see great personalities. We heard just the previous week, we heard how the Brahmashib Shuk Byash Narad Adi Kori Shur Siddha Adi Jota Shachanda Bihari Loki Narayan Avartuna Navadipe Jani Shabai Aishe Bhikure Rupe. These great souls, Brahma, Shiva, Shukdev Goswami, Vyasadev, Narad Muni, Sur Siddha, the demigods and other perfected beings, Jota Swachanda Bihari, those who can just travel according to their own desire. Loki Narayan Avartuna Navadipe, Jani, having heard that Loki and Narayan had appeared in Navadip, Shabai Aishan Bhikure Rupe, they assumed the form of mendicants. Bhikure Rupe, they assumed the form, and in this way they appeared in the pastimes in order to receive alms in the house of Nimai and Sachi Devi and Loki Devi. And Nimai wasn't even begun the preaching at that time, but still these great demigods and great souls and great Vaishnavas, Sukdev Goswami, Vyasadev, these Mahamunis, they wanted to wanted to participate in these pastimes of Gaudhari in Navadip Dham, just as he's performing his household leader. So how sweet this was, how extraordinary it is that he could even for a short period of time leave his household life. It meant such an ideal household life. Such an ideal household life with such a wife, the goddess of fortune herself, cooking and cleaning, massaging his feet, and never even saying anything. Just and what a beauty she was. And she was at home, and Sachi Devi. And not only they had Nimai, imagine the affection that was bestowed upon Nimai in our household life. And he takes sannyas. So it's heartbreaking. So we're reading from the Adi Kondo, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, chapter 14, text number 49. Tobe kota dine icha moi Bhagavan Bangladeshe dekite hoilo icha dan. So it so happened that after some time of being at home with Lucky Devi and enjoying household life as has been described by Vrindavan Thakur, after some time, in that way, Ichamoy Bhagavan, Ichamoy means that he the independent, Ichamoy. He doesn't. His desire can be fulfilled. He doesn't have to rely upon anything for fulfilling his desire. Ichamoy Bhagavan, Bangladeshi. Bangladesh, Dekte Hoilu Ichita. He had a desire to go to Bangladesh. Now, in the purport, Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he actually explains that what's currently West Bengal is called Gaudadesh, and what is currently East Bengal, or currently Bangladesh, that was actually called Bangladesh. So Gaudadesh and Bangladesh. And the Banga name, it comes from, there's some different reasons the Banga comes from, the rivers and different things, and the different, but it's mentioned, this Banga mentioned in different ancient scriptures. The entire tract of land from the Bengal up to the Brahmaputra River is known as Bangladesh, O Parvati. This land bestows on one all perfection. So already this place was East Bengal with Bangladesh. South Bengal was known as Samata. And even in ancient Sanskrit literatures, the term Bangladesh is referred to. So this is subsequently there was there was a separation of India, partition, and in this part of India at that time it was East Bengal, and there was West Bengal, and that was all part of India, as was Pakistan, part of India. And you know that at the time of partition, of the independence of India, there was also partition, and at that time, what is currently known as Bangladesh, that became known as East Pakistan. And then there was Pakistan and there was East Pakistan. And in 1971, actually, there was an independence war that East Pakistan, it sought independence from Pakistan. And there was a great revolution. And that's, of course, very famous. And even our preachers were there at that time. The Agamuni was there at that time. So eventually, Bangladesh gained independence. And so the name Bangladesh, it's an ancient name. It wasn't Pakistan, it was Bangladesh. And so even as distinct from Pashtin Bengal Bhumi, from West Bengal, the Purva Bengal Bhumi is called Bangladesh, and the West Bengal is called Gaudadesh. Tobe Prabhu Janire Bolilen Bani Kotodin Prabhash Kori Mata Ami. So he's saying to Satyamati that Satyamata Mata Ami Kotodin Pravesh Kori. I will go on a journey for a few days. Kotodin, a few days. Says a few days. There says a few days. Kotodin. Lakshmi Proti Kohilen Sri Gaura Sundar, and he said to Lakshmi Devi, just see how he's departing and how he's speaking to his wife. He said to Lakshmi, Lakhi Prati, he says to Lakhi Prati, Kohilen, he says, Gaura Sundar, Mayer Sheban to me, Koro Nirantor, Mayer Sheban, service to mother, Mayer, mother, Mayer Sheban to me, Koro Nirantor, without interruption. Without end, nirantor, without cessation. You serve Ma. This is Mahaprabhu's instruction. Nirvanasram Dharma, it's very simple and sublime. They're simply in the Varnasram system, Varnasram culture, Varnasram system. Basically, it means everyone has an authority. Everyone has an authority in the Varna, in the occupation. There's the gradual indication of the influence of the Varnas as you rise up, and so the Varnas are all it's all about following the authority. And in the ashrams, of course, one has guru, and this is a Varnashram culture that one follows one's authority, either the guru or the representative in the Varnashram system, parents, and in this case, husband. So Sri Gosundar, he's an ideal husband. He's making it very simple for his wife. He's explaining to her what is her essential duty when he's not present there. There's nothing complex. It says, Lokipati Kohelen Sri Gaurasundar, Mayer Shevan Tumi Koronirantor. Mayer Shevan Tumi Koronirantor. How sweet is that? How wonderful, how kind he is to make it so easy for Lucky Devi to carry on with the religious duties, to make it so easy and clear for her to carry on pleasing him, and in such a way which is very practical. I mean, he's not going to be there, so what can she do? So he's saying, this is how you will serve me, and this is your duty. And he made it very clear for her, a very kind husband. And this is what Varnashram Dharma system means, that it's very clear whose one's authority is, and one simply follows. And then there's great peace and subsequent prosperity in society. So he said he'd go for a few days, and he said to Lucky Devi that you without cessation, you serve Sachi Devi. Now, as he's leaving, people, they were transfixed. They're just looking at the form of the Lord, simply staring at him. And it was very difficult for them to actually take their eyes off the Lord. The ladies, when they saw him, Striloke, Dekiya, Bole, when they saw the Lord as he was departing with a few students, leaving Loki Devi and Sachi Devi Adom, they saw the Lord, Strilok, Dekiya, Bole, Heno Putraja, oh, they said, oh, who is the mother of this boy? Heno Putra, whose son is this? Heno Putraja, whose son is this? Dannata Janmatar Baye Namaskar. Dannata Janma. That just by having such a child, having such a son, that mother, his life has become blessed. Just to produce such a son, as he was walking, just seeing him. They're saying, Heno Srilok Dekiya Bole, Heno Putraja, Dannata Janma. Whose son is that? That person's life has been blessed by having such a son. Dannata Janma, Tar Baye Namaskar. We offer our obeisances at their lotus feet. The mother of the child, the mother of this boy, the mother of this young man. And even they commented about the wife. The wife of such a husband, such a son. First they said, such a son. Who could have such a son? That lady, that mother, certainly her life is perfect just by having such a son. And then who could be the wife of such a handsome young man? Jeba Bhagavati Heno Pailen Poti. Oh, who is that Bhagavati? Who is that fortunate Pailen Poti who attained this man as her husband? Jeba Bhagavati Heno Pailen Poti. Who is that greatly fortunate lady who attained him as her husband? Stri Janma Sharta Korilen She Shoti. She's perfected her life as a stri, as a wife, just by having such a husband. Emoto. In this way he departs. But the glories, the people, they don't even know that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're just glorifying him because of his beauty. They're glorifying him because of his wonderful household life, his form, his character. That's the way he's walking. Is just seeing him go. They're saying, said the mother of such a young man had perfected her life is just by having such a son. And the wife, she's perfected all of her duties as a woman just by being the wife of such a man. And they said that just by looking at him. I don't even mention that they discussed or heard him speak or saw his behavior at home. Just by seeing him walk as he was departing, they had these reflections. So, emote, pote, deki, jota, stri purush. And this is the way the Lord travels. Not like us, we travel with such an anxiety, we're always late. The car's coming, we've got the taxi. Oh, it's not big enough, had to get a bigger taxi. Oh, there's too much luggage. We're overweight. Oh, we're late on the highway. Oh, there's so many people checking in at the airport. Oh, we got in, we got to weigh the luggage, we've got to get security checked. Oh, the check-in counter packed. And then we get through that. Oh, the security. And finally, we get to the plane. We're completely, we're a nervous wreck. Look at the way the Lord travels. He's just by walking, the people are just they can't take their eyes off him. They're glorifying him. They're saying the mother of this young man, her life is blessed just by having such a son. And the wife of this man, she's perfected all of her dharma, all of as a stri, just by having such a man as a husband. And this way, they can't. Hey, moto, pote, deki, joto, stri, porush. In this way, As he was walking on the path, Jota Stri Purush, all of the men and women who saw him thought of him in this way. Jota Stri Purush, Punno Punno Shabe Bhakka Koren Shantosh. Puna Puna Shabai Bhakka Koren Shantosh. So Puna Puna Shabai Bhakka Koren Shantoshe. Yeah, I'll read that again. A mortal, Pote Deki Jota Stri Purushe. In this way, on the path, whoever men and women saw him, Puna Puna Shabai Bhakka Koren Shantoshe, they were able to glorify him to their full satisfaction. They were glorifying him in full satisfaction. And in this way, it's out of special mercy that the Supreme Lord, who is the object of meditation of great munis and rishis, who undergo great penances and austerities for hundreds of years just to try to take darshan of the Supreme Lord in their hearts. So that Supreme Lord, out of kindness, he appears as Sachi Kumar, as the darling of Sachimata, and as Navadip Chandra, the crest jewel of the Navadip Brahmins, Dvijamani, the jewel of the Navadip twice-born Brahmins, Navadip Chandra, the rising moon of Navadip, Dvijamani. These are all names that are referring to him in his Vidya Lila, even before he began the Sankirtan pastimes. And then also he remained as Dvijamani, crest jewel of the Navadip Brahmins. But even as before beginning Sankirtan, as Sarva Navadipe, Sarva Lokolo, Sarva Navadipe, Sarva Lokolo Doni, Nimai Pandit Odda Pok Shiromani. He's the crest jewel of the professors of Navadip. So as he was leaving, the people were so much attached, and they were just so much appreciating his form. And in this way, he was just being glorified as he was walking on the path. And in this way, he was showing so much mercy on the ordinary people. Anyone who saw, it says Jota Stri Purush. It says all the people, A Morto, Bate, Deki, Jota Stri Purush, whoever, all of the people on the path. All of the people on the path, as Mahaprabhu was leaving Mayapur, Navadip, and going to East Bengal. What direction is that? Yes, that's in not crossing the Ganga, it's going the east. It goes backwards and back towards Bangladesh in the direction of Dhaka, and come to a place called Faridpur. I had a class a few weeks ago. We were discussing this, and I showed the map, so I won't show it again. Faridpur, Bangladesh. Henomote, Goshundor, Dire, Kota Dine, Island, Podabati Tire. So in this way, as he was walking, and all of the people, whatever street Purush, whatever men and women were on the path, they could get his darshan. And in this way, after some days, Dire, unhurriedly, means just walking, Dire, Kota Dine, after some days, Island, Podabati Tire. He arrived on the banks of the Podamati. Poddabati River. Poddabati. What they'd say, they would say Padmavati. In Bangla, it's Poddabati. Tire. So this river was very beautiful. Well, Prabhupada comments in the purport that actually this is, though personally, just sit up Saraswati Thakur, he comments in the purport about Mahaprabhu going to East Bengal and arriving in East Bengal. He says that the pastimes of accumulating, he says that though personally full in 6 opulences, as Navadip Chandra, as he was home here in Navadip with Lokhi Devi, Sachi Devi, he was personally full in 6 opulences. After his marriage pastime, Gosunda, he crossed many villages and eventually arrived on the banks of the Podabati in order to perform pastimes of accumulating wealth, whilst imitating the activities of ordinary householders. So yeah, he had to do, although he was full in 6 opulences, he didn't actually have to work, but he had to kind of like make out as though he was doing some work. He had to look like he was having some employment, otherwise people would be perplexed. How do you maintain your... So he went to Bangladesh on a teaching tour, on a lecturing tour. And in that way, he would collect so many gifts. And still, we see that this is the case. Not just, of course, in Bangladesh. Also, you'll receive many gifts, but this is the case for the traveling preachers of Krishna consciousness, that they are honored with great wealth, with great gifts and wealth, which they use in the service of the Lord. So Mahaprabhu, when he came, he was very much enchanted by the beauty of the Padmavati river. Of course, we know that Mahaprabhu has a special relationship with Ma Ganga, every day bathing in Ganga. They didn't have, in those days, they didn't have like a bathroom, and we take a shower. And then I go most days, take bath in the Ganga. But Mahaprabhu would have been every time he took bath. There's no, at home, there wouldn't be no bathroom. They would just take bath in the Ganga. They would go to and from the Ganga regularly, getting the drinking water, getting the water for puja, getting water for cooking, bathing, washing clothes, everything in the Ganga. They were so close to the Ganga. Ganga was their life. So what a relationship Mahaprabhu had with Ma Ganga. Janavir, Bancha Kalpataru, Chigodu Shundur, Janavir, Bancha Punnakori Nirantor. Vrindavan Das Thakur, in another place, he's explaining that Bancha Kalpataru, the desire fulfilling, Shigodu Shundur, Janavir Bancha. Janavir Bancha, the desire of Ma Ganga, Janavir Bancha Punnakori Nirantor. He's fulfilling the desire of Ma Ganga constantly, Punnakori Nirantor. So in this way, when he went and saw the Padmavati, then naturally his affection for Ma Ganga also was arising in his heart, and he became very much attracted. And he took bath. Of course, he took bath, and you can imagine how beautiful. Even on occasion, I'm traveling in Bangladesh, and there's so many rivers. And in the summertime, and we get to a river and we stop and we take bath. Yeah, so refreshing. And you carry on with the journey. That's traveling in Bangladesh, special. So in this way, Mahaprabhu, he took bath in the Padmavati River and enjoyed himself. Actually, there you go. Yeah, I was fortunate to, 1 month ago, I was on the Padmavati River, not in Faridpur where Mahaprabhu was, but at this time. But where he went another time, near Keturi, Rajshahi, near Ramkelly. After he met Rupa and Sanatan, he went to the Padmavati River in Ramkelly. Ramkelly. And we took bath in the Padmavati there, and she's very, 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 very peaceful. Hardly there's a current at all. Now, Shaydin, Bhagavati, Padmavati, Shaydin Hoite. So that day when Mahaprabhu, he came from Mayapur and he traveled east and came to the Padmavati River, Bhagavati, Padmavati. The most fortunate Padmavati, Bhagavati, Padmavati, Shaydin Hoite, she became that day Padmavati. She became most fortunate, Bhagavati, Shaydin Hoite, because Jogya Hoilo, Sharvalok, Pavitra Korite, Jogya Hoilo. She became that day when Mahaprabhu came and saw her beauty and bathed in her. That day she became Bhagavati Hoito. And Jogya Hoilo, because she became eligible, you could say Jogya, she qualified herself, Jogya Hoilo, Sharvalok Pavitra Korite, Sarvalok Pavitra Korite, to purify the entire universe. To purify the entire creation. Sarvalok Pavitra Korite, Jogya Hoilo, Bhagavati Padmavati Shaydin Hoite. That day, because of the touch of the lotus feet of Gaudhari, she became so purified that she could, she became capable of purifying the entire creation. In the purport, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that when Lord Guru Goswami took bath in the Padmavati, she at once became most fortunate and the deliverer of all. Though the emanation of the Gangas from the bank of Lord Vishnu indicates the quality of delivering people and destroying sin, the moment the Lord personally and directly immersed and bathed in the Padma, whose ability for delivering fallen souls was not as great as the Ganga. So that's interesting. Now, if you look at the if you look at Ma Ganga, and if you look at her at the Ramkelly district, at the place where Mahaprabhu met Rupa and Sanatan, which we have discussed in these sessions in the past. So at that place in Ramkelly, there is the Ma Ganga. She divides in Melda. She divides a little after that, and she divides. And actually, the larger part of her flows into Bangladesh, and she's called Padmavati, and she flows into Bangladesh. And the other portion of her turns and goes south. And this is actually the desire of Bhagirathi, who is bringing Ma Ganga from the celestial realm and bringing her to the Bay of Bengal, where at the Ganga Sagar ashram, at the Ganga Sagar, the Kapilmuni ashram, where his ancestors had been burnt and they were in ashes, and so he wanted to bring the Ma Ganga there to deliver them. So actually, she was flowing directly toward the Bay of Bengal and through the Bangladesh. And so in order to be able to go through Gormandal Bhumi, and particularly Mahaprabhu's Janmastan, Bhagirathi Maharaj, he turned and he took the direct path to this directly down. The Padmavati, she flows all the way into the Bay of Bengal, but at Ramkelly, he turns south and comes directly down. In order to go through Mayapur, in order to go through Bengal and Mayapur. And in this way, she's called Bhagirathi. And she's called Bhagirathi Ganga. This Ganga is called Bhagirathi Ganga because she's been brought here by Bhagirathi Maharaj in order to go to that particular area in the Ganga Sagar, the Kapil Ashram, whereas now where Ganga, Bhagirathi Ganga, she flows into the Bay of Bengal, a very holy place there, the Kapil Ashram, and that whole Leela was there. So the Padma River, she flowed directly, and she also comes into Bay of Bengal, but she assumes a different name. She's Padmavati, and there she actually meets another river called Brahmatirtha, and then she flows through Dhaka, and then she flows into many rivers and flows into the Bay of Bengal. It's kind of, she becomes a major. That huge Padmavati stream, she breaks up, she meets with Brahmatirtha, that's a huge river. And then that breaks up into many other rivers into the delta of South Bengal and Bangladesh, all the way to Chittagong, and so many rivers flowing into the Bay of Bengal. So in this way, the Ganga dissipates into the Ganga Delta. And but Adi Ganga, and where Prabhupada was born, that same Bhagirathi Ganga, she's called Adi Ganga. Adi Ganga, that's considered Adi Ganga. And when she goes through when she turns into Padmavati and goes through Bangladesh, even though she's actually larger there, but she's considered not the original Ganga. And the Bhagirathi Ganga that comes through Mayapur is considered the original Ganga. And so for that reason, on this occasion, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself went to Bangladesh and bathed in the Padmavati, she became, Sanatana Saraswati Thakur says, that her ability for delivering fallen souls was not as great as the Ganga, but by the touch of the Lord's lotus feet on this occasion, it became equal to the Ganga. She became equal to the Ganga and could purify the entire universe. Padda Bhati Nadi Oti Dekti Shundur. Seeing was very beautiful. Oti Dekti Shundur. Very beautiful seeing. To observe, in observing, she's beautiful to see. Padmavati Nadi Oti Dekti Shundur. Taranga, pulling the flow, the current, the flowing current, the pulling, the banks. Taranga, pulling, srot, that's the current. The waves, taranga, the waves. Bhavatarangi, the waves. Taranga, pulling, the banks. Srot, the current. Oti Manohar, were very beautiful. So she had some current. She's flowing on banks, on both sides of the banks. There were lush green forests. So the Turanga, the Pulo, or pull in, pull in. The throat, oti monoha. Padmavati nodi, oti dekti shindur. Taranga, pull in, throat, oti manoha. Actually, we preach in Bengali language. And sometimes devotees comment, "Oh, you speak the Bengali very poetically, high class poetic. How is that so? Because when you read these literatures, you can see the way in which the oti manohar is extremely enchanting, oti manohar. So in this way, by reading these beautiful verses, you can make your speaking can become very eloquent. It's dekti shundur, oti dekti shundur, oti dekti padmavati nodi, oti dekti shundur. Taranga, Pulin, Srot, oti manohar. This is a way of describing the river. The Taranga, the Pulin, the Srot, oti manohar. Taranga, the waves, Pulin, the banks, Srot, the current, oti manohar. So he was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was so much pleased in his mind, and he found her so beautiful. And seeing that's how Mahaprabhu saw the environment. That he saw her as extremely beautiful. The waves, the banks, and the current. He found them to be extremely beautiful. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Just even now when we travel in Uttarakhand, on the back, you go up the Ganga, you go up past Uttarakhand and into the high areas of the Ganga, and you see many ashrams and many munis and sages. They're just living on the banks of the Ganga. That is their sadhana. Just living on the banks of the Ganga, because you can hear her sound the whole time. Can hear the sound, it's like the whole time, and then they meditate on the sound. It's very easy, and take bath in the Ganga, and they eat simple life. You could go there and attain perfection. Many sages and rishis retire. Generally, they practice impersonal meditation, but even for Bhagavad Bhakti, we can go and chant Hare Krishna in these places. The environment in itself is so purified that just by hearing the sound of the Ganga and bathing in her and just eating simple prasadam there, you can attain perfection very easy. So how beautiful is the Ganga, and how spiritually powerful. And so even here, Padmavati River, she's coming from the Ganga. Still, she's so spiritually powerful that seeing her beauty, seeing her current, seeing the banks on both sides, seeing the waves, Mahaprabhu felt extremely he pleased. And so Padmavati was blessed that Mahaprabhu was pleased by her association, and he desired to stay there a few days. Just as he, remembering the Ganga, even though he'd just come from the Ganga a few days before, but still he was so much attached to the Ganga that he was enjoying. And you could imagine 500 years ago how beautiful Padmavati River would have been. Even today, the rivers in Bangladesh, they're certainly, they're very clean. They're like so powerful. So oftentimes the things get washed away, homes get washed away, villages get washed away. Bangladesh rivers, it's the delta. The whole of the country is just delta of Ganga. So many rivers and they change and they flood every year. What a country! So rich, so fertile. All of those minerals and those natural resources and manganese and all those elements and natural nutrients are just pouring down the Ganga, and they all just get finally soaked in and soaked into the delta plains of Bengal, and she's such a fertile land here. Bangladeshe Go Chandra Gorile Pravesh Adapi Shay Bhaga Dhanna Bangladesh. Bangladesh, Gauchandra Gorila Pravesh, he entered East Bengal, Bangladesh. Adapi Shay Bhaga Dhanna Bangladesh. In this way, he blessed Bangladesh by entering here. And even today, Adyapi Shay Bhagya Dhanna, even today he's saying, Adapi, even now, she's blessed. Bangladesh is a blessed land because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he entered and he enjoyed so much on the banks of the Padmavati. Padmavati Tide Rohiren Gauda Chandra Shuni Shavalo Boro Hoilo Ananda. So hearing so many people, Sarvalok, that Shune, when they heard that Padmavati Tire on the banks of the Padmavati Tire, Rohilen, Gochandra, he has come on the banks of the Padmavati. When they heard that Suni, Savalok, Boro Hoilo Ananda, they all became overwhelmed with great bliss. Nimai Pandit Addapak Shiromani, Nimai Pandit Addapak Shiromani, the crest jewel of the professors of Navadip, Nimai Pandit Addapak Shiromani, Ashiyachen, Sharbidike Hoilo Doni, in all directions, all you could hear was the news that Nimai Pandit Addapak Shiromani, Ashiyachen, the crest jewel of all the professors, Nimai Pandit has come. And so many people, so many hundreds of thousands of people came. News arrives, the news spread very swiftly. And so many, hundreds of students, hundreds. Vidya Prabhav Deki Chamatka Chite, seeing his Vidya Prabhav. Vidya Prabhav means his learning, with the power of his learning. Vidya Prabhav Deki Chamatka Chite, everyone's heart became completely astonished, became struck with wonder. Chamatkar, Vidya Prabhav, seeing the power of his learning. Deki, Chitte, Chamatkar Chitte, everyone in the heart was struck with wonder. Shata, Badua, Ashi, Lagiye, Borite, hundreds and hundreds of students came in order to learn from Nimai Pandit at this time. They came bearing various gifts and offered obeisances to various students. They were pious Brahmins. It's a great fortune that to have your presence in our country. Usually it would take us a great effort to raise funds to be able to go to Navadip, but you've by your divine grace, you're an ocean of knowledge, and you've come here personally to our doorstep. In the purport, Srila Thakur is commenting that in the Lord's presence, many people from East Bengal accumulated wealth, and with their sons and dependents, they accumulated wealth, and with their sons and dependents went to study in Navadip. I mean, many from East Bengal, so many great personalities came to Navadip. From Sri Hatta is Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Advaita Acharya. He had big property there, but he came to Navadip. Srivas Thakur, he was from Sri Hatta, he came to Navadip. Murari Gupta, Shivananda Sain, Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Mata, Nilamba Chakravarti Thakur is the father of Sachi Devi. Nilamba Chakravarti, he's from Sri Hatta, he came to Navadip. Jagannath Mishra, he's from Sri Hatta, he came to Navadip. So many Brahmins, why they're all coming to Navadip? Because it was the center of learning. Chaturdik hoitelo Navadipe Jai, Navadip Poile She Vidaroshpai. Chaturdik hoitelo Navadipe Jai. All of the scholars from all directions were coming to Navadip. Navadip Poile, because if you studied in Navadip She Vidaroshpai, you get a taste for learning. So many people were going to Navadip, and so many exalted Vaishnavas, the Brahmins who we just mentioned. And Nimai Pandit was famous in Navadip. He was Sarva Navadipe Sarva Lokoilo Doni Nimai Pandit Uddabhak Shiromani. So as he was famous in Navadip, he was famous throughout all Bengal. And they're saying that the great Nimai Pandit, you've come here to East Bengal. Students desired from East Bengal, they desired to study under him, but for some reason or another, they weren't able to go to Navadip. And so today they're feeling great fortune because the crest jewel of all teachers, Nimai Pandit, has personally arrived on the banks of the Padmavati. And it's our extraordinary good fortune that we don't need to go to Navadip, we can learn from him here. And some are saying, you're certainly the incarnation of Brihaspati, and others are saying, no, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's impossible to find such erudition in an ordinary man. And they submitted that Ebe ek nibedan koriya tamare. And this way we have one request. One petition we're requesting of you. Biddadan koro kichu ama shabakare. You kindly give us knowledge. And in this way, Shai Bhagya Addapiha Sharva Bangladesha. In this way, all of Bangladesh, Shai Bhagya, that great fortune they received, the Sri Chaitanya Sankirtan, Sri Purusha, that because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, and because he enjoyed so much his pastimes of imparting knowledge there, that great fortune that the land of East Bengal received, Shai Bhagya, because he went there, Addapiha Sarva Bangladesha, even today, all over Bangladesh, Sri Chaitanya Sankirtan Koro Sri Purusha. The women, Sri Purusha, and the men, they do Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Sankirtan Koro. They chant the holy name of the Lord and chant the glories of Nitai Gaur all throughout Bangladesh because of the great fortune that they had of Nimai Pandit going there personally and enjoying imparting knowledge there. And as we see, he stayed here for several months. It wasn't just a few days. He stayed here for several months. And what happened at this place subsequently, we'll hear in the next sessions. And also what happened to Loki Devi back in Navadip, we'll also hear. So are there any questions on what we discussed today? We were discussing how the people of Navadip, how they were all transfixed when Nimai was departing and the glorification that they made about Sachi Devi, about Lucky Devi, and how the people, just any common people could see him on the path, and how beautiful was Bangladesh, and how it pleased the Lord's mind when he went to the Padmavati River and he stayed there, and how he began his pastimes of educating the people of East Bengal. So are there any questions on the topics of today? Shall we take the question from Hema? Hema, Mataji, you should ask your question. Unmute, that's unmute. Any questions today? Adidev. Adidev. I can't hear any question. Please unmute us. It's not up to me. Ask to unmute. It's asked to unmute. You can unmute. You can. I'm asking you unmute. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Yeah.
Today in the class, you told about the Ganges and how the Lord God Hari used to glorify the Ganges river also. And you told about one sentence struck in my mind that 5,000 years ago, you can imagine how pure the Ganges river was. Now, my question is related to that because you were describing it. When Lord Krishna appeared on the earth, we have heard about the pastime of Lord Krishna in the Yamuna river, but I don't know where the Lord Krishna devotees used to wash the feet of the Lord Krishna in the river Ganges. So can you tell, he might be traveling in the region of India, Lord Krishna, and the devotees also might be washing his feet, or he may also wash his feet in the river Ganges. So what is that place from that point?
So
this struck in my mind.
Generally, we don't hear of Krishna pastimes in the Ganga. Generally, we hear that he assumed the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in that way he unlimitedly performed pastimes in the Ganga. Generally, we just think of that. It's not that because Krishna there's no pastimes of Krishna in the Ganga. There may be, but I can't think of them. But generally, we don't really think that that's anything missing out because Ganga's desires were fulfilled without cessation by the regular association she had of Sri Sachinandan.
Because Ma Ganges used to glorify the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, na? So I thought from that point. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
when you explained about the devotees when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaving, so I just got like, is this similar to the pastime where Krishna leaves Hastinapur, Prabhu?
Yeah, it's very similar. And thank you for reminding us of that wonderful pastime, Adi Dev. So we'll carry on next week. We'll be discussing what happened we'll be discussing what happened on the banks of the Padmavati at Faridpur, and we'll also be discussing what happened in Mayapur where Lakhi Devi was left. And we look forward to your association in the subsequent week. Next Sunday we'll have a class. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for the wonderful session. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.